Hola amigos, this is level 12 and today we are going to be discussing why Molossia's war with East Germany should not be happening. Now, on a previous video I mentioned, as I was doing research, I found out that Molossia was at war with East Germany, which technically no longer exists, but I did more research into it, and this is the official website page of Molossia and why Molossia currently is at war with East Germany. Now, I have no issue if a micronation wants to declare war. My issue with is the micronation that originally declared the wars has converted into a different micronation, and East Germany technically no longer exists. At least not the East Germany we think of, but the East Germany they think of is different. So, let's begin. Molossia is at war with East Germany. Since 1983, our little nation has been at war with the now defunct East Bloc stalwart, home to Travis, the Stasi, and the Berlin Wall. In September 2008, XX1, the Molossian Ministry of Archives and Records Spare Room Closet Division was examining old files, mostly dating to the early days of Molossia, then known as the Grand Republic of Volstein. This is the first instance where we find that Molossia can no longer it's technically no longer at war with East Germany because it was the Grand Republic of Volstein. That's just a thing with me that since this country that originally declared the war on East Germany no longer exists, Molossia should not be able to continue such a war. Mixed with castle plans, island maps, and other musings was a folded piece of paper which, when opened, proved to be a declaration of war against East Germany. This document dates to 2nd November 1983, VII, a period of when our current president, then still Prime Minister of Volstein, see his title changed, was stationed with the United States Army in West Germany. These reasons for this war declaration are obscure, although a reference is made to the document to disrupting sleep. It is known that the U.S. Army in Europe was conducting a military training exercise in Europe at around the same time, thus there is perhaps a connection, as those exercises were aimed at preventing an incursion by Soviet forces, largely by way of East Germany. What is also apparent is that the war was never formally ended, because wars need peace treaty to end, which is why the war it's either in Vietnam or Korea, or I think the Vietnam War did end, whatever. And one of those two nations that we fought with or against, a peace treaty was never signed, so technically that war is still going on. I think it's between North and South Korea, because no peace treaty was signed between them, but whatever. I don't remember, so don't quote me on that. It would seem, however, that the end of East Germany, which took place on October 3rd, 1990, would also mark the end of the Molossian... that accent makes me sound weird. Mark the end of the Molossian War with that nation. However, East Germany lives on in an unlikely place, and thus the war lives on as well. The last remaining remnant of East Germany's sovereignty is in tiny Ernest Thalmann Island, Cayo Ernesto Thalmann, off the coast of Cuba. The island is 15 imperial nortons, which is Molossian measurements, 15 kilometers long, but is no more than 312 royal nortons, 500 meters, wide, and is uninhabited except for the iguanas and birds and that are indigenous there and the occasional tourists stopping by. Now, unless Molossia is waging a war against the iguanas and birds, they have no one technically to fight. I really want to see an iguana sign a peace treaty with its tongue. During a state visit to East Germany in June 1972, Fidel Castro made the island, then called Cayo Blanco del Sur, a gift to East Germany. The island was renamed in honor of German communist politician Ernest Thalmann, who was the leader of the Communist Party of Germany, KPD, and was later imprisoned and murdered during the Nazi regime. In August 1972, the East German ambassador to Cuba erected a bust of Ernest Thalmann on Communist Germany's one and only foothold in the tropics. The island wasn't mentioned in the treaty unifying both Germanies, which makes it arguably the last remaining piece of East German territory, also known as Prussia. Thus, East Germany lives on Ernest Thalmann Island. As the island is uninhabited, there is no one with whom to negotiate a peace treaty, other than the iguanas. Thus the war lives on as well, with no end in sight. In response to this, the government of the Republic of Molossia, which technically is not Volstein, reopened the War Department, closed since the successful prosecution of the war with Mustachian. In addition, war bonds are again being issued, please do not buy those, to help finance our potentially never-ending war effort. Plans are being drawn up to deal with any threat, no matter small, that the long-dead but still extant communist nation may bring against us. One cannot rule out the possibility of covertly trained attack iguanas. I will read that line again in case some of y'all are hard of hearing. One cannot rule out the possibility of covertly trained attack iguanas. That's the logic of Molossia. It is hoped that someday this conflict will be brought to a successful and hopefully peaceful conclusion. In the meantime, our nation must be ever vigilant against the East German threat. Now, I am about to click on a picture that will, this is the Declaration of War document. And here we have the Declaration of War, declaring that the state of war exists between the Grand Republic of Volstein, which is no longer existent, it is now Molossia, and the German Democratic Republic, whereas the government of the German Democratic Republic has overtly and covertly conspired to disrupt the peace of this nation by actions deliberately annoying and disruptive to one's sleep. It is resolved that a state of war exists between the Grand Republic of Volstein and the German Democratic Republic. This second day of November 1983, the King and Prime Minister are hereby authorized to employ the military forces of the Grand Republic of Volstein to carry on war against the German Democratic Republic and to bring the conflict to a successful termination. Signed, Kevin Baugh, Prime Minister. Okay, so let's dissect this document. Dissect in quotation marks. The Republic of Volstein no longer exists, as it is now the Republic of Molossia, and thus the Prime Minister also no longer exists. So in my opinion, this document should be null and void, because Volstein no longer exists, which means the original nation that declared war also no longer exists. So even though the biggest part of this argument is that East Germany is no more other than a little island inhabited by iguanas, is that Volstein also no longer exists, therefore this war no longer exists, because one nation no longer exists, meaning someone won. But whatever, we have a few more things to go over. And here we are at our final destination in this, whatever it is, the war against Molossia and East Germany. This is when, I'm assuming another part of Molossia went and investigated the island of East Germany. On February 11, 2009, XXII, a covert team of operatives from the Principality of Vixland, headed by Prince Christopher himself, landed on Ernest Thälmann Island to conduct reconnaissance operations there. The purpose was to determine the extent of East German activities on the island. Among other evidence of East German activities, a massive communications tower was noted, and the East German flag was discovered. Proof indeed that East Germany is still operating long after its demise, and is no doubt planning nefarious deeds against our nation. View the movie. So, I haven't watched this, but I will link this website in the description so you can go watch it. If East Germany did technically own this island back in whatever time they, in 1972, I'm pretty sure they might have put stuff on here back during that time, and there might still be an East German flag, although that one looks fairly decent, which I'm not sure if the flag was planted, but I feel like the tower was left over. I'll have to watch the video and determine that for myself, but I don't know if the video is real or not. I don't want to make my decision on that, but let's get down to the medals. The Molossia East Germany War Medals. Molossia East Germany, oh, that just says the same thing, I'm stupid. And recognition for the service during the ongoing war with East Germany, November 2nd, 1983 VII to present, awarded to all persons that have performed service during the war. The medal is an actual East German Army service medal, repurposed for service in the ongoing struggle against that nation. Persons holding the Molossian East German War Medal: His Excellency President Kevin Baugh, Molossia, Prince Christopher I of the Principality of Vixland. And down here, hold on, can I scroll anymore? Okay, well my screen my capture thing won't show where you can buy war bonds, but whatever. Day 12,341 of the war with East Germany, and right below where my screen capture doesn't say, it says buy war bonds. Now, a war bond is a kind of like the stock market. When you buy a war bond, you're investing into that nation's army supplies. It helps them purchase military stuff and mostly just military stuff. And when that war is over, or however long you like other stocks, you can cash it in. However, certain stocks, like if someone still had a stock from the Civil War, I don't think you could cash that one in. But the longer you keep that stock and the longer the economy is good, you can cash it in. Now, during another time of war, the government will ask you to buy war bonds, and most people do because they want their country to win. And technically, while you can get your money back for the war bonds, I don't think you can cash them in until the war is over. Even then, you don't get that much money back on your dollar for war bonds because it is coming out of the government's pocket, and the government tries to keep as much money as they can. Anyway, so that was the War of Molossia in East Germany, and in my opinion, why it technically should not be happening. But no one cares for my opinion. So, what are your opinions on the war with Molossia in East Germany? Whose side are you on? Do you support the, I'm assuming, capitalist not East Germany, Molossia, or the iguanas of East Germany? Tell me down in the comments below and how you will either support or not support this war. So, I don't know, I thought this was a really interesting idea to research because most of the wars I read about or have to study for school are all political bullcrap, except if it's World War II. I don't mind ever learning more about World War II. I thought this war was really funny, and, hold on, let's see if I can pull up this picture of the East Germany, the nefarious East Germany iguana. Is it gonna pop up? Yep, this is the enemy right here. This is the enemy. Anyways, like and subscribe for more, and, I don't even know if I should use my regular outro, because this wasn't anime related at all. This was just me being stupid and wanting to research the war against East Germany and Molossia. But, I will anyway. So, thank you all for watching, and please like and subscribe for more anime and otaku related content, and maybe more stupid micronation bullcrap. Anyways, ciao, chicos!